Hello there, hello, and thank you for coming back. We are on our next interview, and I'm very excited about this. I can't say if he's a new author. I think he's been writing a lot over the years, but he's become very popular recently through his Hellscape series, sort of the Dark Shadow style, and he's here to tell you all about it. Hello, Dave Gillson. How are you?
I'm fine, Ollie. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Lovely to see you. You seem to have
thank you for having me.
I see you're in the Black Lobster at the moment.
I am indeed, yeah. But we built this during lockdown because we started it last September, October time. But having time to do, we got it finished because I'm a home brewer as well, so I wanted like a shed that was a pub and a brewery at the same time.
Oh,
so it had to be the Black Lobster, didn't it?
Every man's dream. Goodness
yeah,
me.
In fact, I messaged Ian and asked him when he was established. He's given me a date, so that's on the bottom of the sign. So that's something completely new, a little bit of like fighting fantasy folklore there.
And what date was that? We can't see it from here. I'm sure
195 AC.
Brilliant. That's great. So
that's officially when the Black Lobster opened its doors for the first time.
Clearly, David, you have been a Gamebook fan for a long time. I'm just assuming you have been a fan for a long time. What was the first book you read? How old were you? And what grabbed you?
Well, I was 11 because I was around when they first came out, and it was perfect time for me. It was just, I think it was the summer before I went into senior school. We wanted something that you could, and it's just, the covers were so compelling when I saw it, and it was all up Fight Up Mountain. And then I played them for 2 or 3 years. I got the Sorcery box set, which I no longer have, which I'm absolutely gutted about. I went through trying to memorize all the spells, so I didn't actually cheat.
Did you have the separate spell book? I remember that.
Oh, yeah. I loved it, and unfortunately, that's long gone, probably to the tip years and years ago. But then, I suppose, 2.5, 3 years in, I suppose other things came along, like going to the pub. That's a bit early, I suppose. Yeah. Other things took over. Still read a lot of fantasy. I completely forgot about game books until 2.5 years ago. And it was only purely reading an article in The Guardian about Gates of Death and saying the resurgence. And I was going through a tough time at the time as well, so I needed something to take my mind off it. And so I ordered Forest of Doom, because I remember that being one of my favourites.
Yeah.
And I got the new Scholastic version. And of course, that just kicked everything off. And since then, I've been buying, it's driving my wife mad. They wanted like parcels coming through the letterbox on a daily basis. Our second little lounge has turned into like a library full of like game books.
Wow.
But then that inspired me, I suppose. I've always fancied writing. I've tried in the past, I've dabbled in the past. But I think what I like about game books is it's about, as a job, I'm an analyst.
Yeah.
So you analyse data, you work things out, and you problem solve. But there's also the creative side. So I've always had a creative side, which I've never fully used, I don't think. So it's having those two parts to it. Because game book writing, you have to design it and be quite analytical. But you've also got to be imaginative and creative. And I just love the fact that you can do both. And when you're struggling in one area, you can work on another. Okay. So it's been relatively, I've been, I suppose, into game books through bookending it, 3 years at one end and 3 years at the other almost. And I just missed the rest in between.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have done that. They had a huge gap in between, and now they're all coming back. Maybe because they're kids, or are the age that they got into it, and they feel like there's something they should introduce them to. I don't know how old your kids are, but maybe a bit
17
old.
and 13.
So okay.
I think 14, sorry. Youngest is 14.
Yeah.
So 17 and 14.
Yeah. They're looking at you, glaring at you now.
Yes.
So what was the first book that you wrote, and did you intend that first book to be part of a whole series?
No, it never was. I mean, the first book I wrote was because I liked Midnight Rogue so much, because I think it's a bit different. Because you were a thief, and it was a bit of an anti-hero kind of thing. You weren't traditional, I suppose, warrior going off to save the day. Yeah. And I really liked the creeping around, that trying to use different skills, etc. So I actually wrote a sequel to Midnight Rogue, which I called Twilight Rogue, which I never really was perfectly happy with, because Twilight's too linked now to glistening vampires, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I've got about 715 sections, and it never got finished. But there's some really good stuff there. But it taught me a lot about how to write a game book. And then I decided to hit on the idea of Straight to Hell, which is my largest game book, and started writing that. And that, because it was such a long book, it took me quite a lot of time to get through it. And then I thought, well, hang on a minute, I did all that work on Twilight Rogue.
Yes.
Can I just repurpose it? So what I've done is just take a lot of the story put it into my own world, changed obviously all the place names and everything like that. So it's very much, it's almost like a spiritual sequel to Midnight Rogue, and it's quite linked, I suppose, to Lone Wolf in the fact it's the same character you use again and again in the books.
Yeah.
So I'm up to writing the third book of the Shadow Thief series, and that's going to be Heroes, and so Jailbreak, then Hunted, then Heroes, and it's the same character you take through each time, and different skills, and you build up your skill sets as well.
Do you have the idea of more than 3? Have you got a certain number in your head?
This, I hope, is the trilogy, and then I'm hoping that, because I really like the Shadow books, and they seem to be very popular, that I'll carry on writing different story arcs, have like 2 to 3, 4 book story arcs, and carry on, and perhaps see, as in Lone Wolf, you see Lone Wolf get older, advance, etc. So hopefully Shadow will grow. He won't be like an irresponsible young teenage thief. He'll grow up into his 20s, 30s, 40s, perhaps he'll become a guild master, etc. And see him change over time, and so bring in new stories. But then when I was writing, because I was writing Hellscape, and it's obviously set in hell, fictional hell, then I couldn't resist linking the two together. So the Shadow Thief books are actually set, in my mind, about 2 decades before the Hellscape series. So if you read the Shadow books, you do get a little bit about what's going to happen in Hellscape. You get little hints and like Easter eggs, etc., to say this is what's going to happen. Not completely to give it away, but there are hints in there. But you don't have to play both. They are independent, but it is a linked universe.
We've got Luke Sheridan saying, "Yay, keep them coming, David." And and Paul Scanlon saying, "I love how David both writes and illustrates his game books. It makes his work very personal, and you feel that that connection between the words and the artwork." So
thank you, Paul. I mean, the thing is, I always wanted to do illustrations, but obviously art is expensive. And again, frustrated artist in me thought I'll have a go myself. And I think when you look at the first version, the first print of Jailbreak, I've actually reissued it in a new version with some new art in because I wasn't happy with the old stuff. But at least I'm making progress and I'm coming along, and I'm happy with what I'm doing. You know, I do like, because it's, I suppose, which comes first, the illustration or the description. And sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other. Sometimes it's a visual thing, I'll have to do that, so therefore you describe it. Other times it's a description, so then you have to draw it. And again, it's another part of the fact that if you get to the stage where you're stuck in a corner, literally in a corner of a cell or something like that, and in a jail, you can't escape in the narrative, then go and draw something for a while. So you're still working on the book, but it gives you the chance to actually flip between different roles.
Of course, I find illustration quite meditative when I'm doing it. I can really kind of just go, that's a great way of doing it. I haven't been brave enough to illustrate my own stuff yet. But,
I've seen your stuff, you should do.
Well, it's more time-wise. You know, it takes me far, far longer than it does Nick Vilma, who does all my artwork. But, no, definitely. I think keep it coming. So you've got, which books have you got out at the moment? Which ones are you... Brilliant, okay.
I came prepared. Right, first of all, you've got the Shadow Thief series. Can we see both of those?
Fantastic. And are those both available from Amazon?
They are, and I've just put book 2 on Drive-Thru RPG. I intend to put book 1 on there as well, as a linked PDF as well. So, I mean, not everyone wants to use Amazon, not everyone can use Amazon, so Drive-Thru RPG is another area for it to be picked up.
That's great.
And then you've got Hellscape, which is a little bit thicker.
Wow, okay, yes.
I mean, that was 666 references, and that's about, I obviously worked it out to be 666, and it's about 95,000 words or something. So that was quite an endeavour compared to Jailbreak, which is a wee slim little beastie.
David, did you say that you've only been doing this for 2 years?
I only started a year and a half ago, right?
A year and a half? And you've done 3 books already? 3?
Well, I've done 4, actually.
4. Do you get to see your family, or they?
Well, if you ask them, probably not now. I squirrel myself away in because I'm working from home a lot now. I've actually got an office and a spare bedroom. So instead of being cramped up, sat on at the kitchen table or sat on the floor in the lounge, I can actually sit at a proper desk and work on the evenings.
That's fantastic.
But that's Psycho Killer, and the Psycho Killer is a little bit different because it's contemporary set. It's set in our world. Sometime I'm being very unspecific about the time because I don't want to get mobile phones involved because that complicates the plot. Because the whole idea is if I'm going to pitch it to Hollywood, it would be Die Hard on Halloween. So basically, you're stuck with a group of friends in a high-rise building, and there's a killer trying to kill you all, and you have to try and escape.
Oh, that sounds great.
So, this is really good fun, yeah.
Yeah, so there's only one monster, one thing that you're trying to...
Yeah, so it's not a fighting book, because if you try and fight the psycho killer, then it's not going to end well for you. It's evade and escape.
You should have a chat with Eric from Spoken Adventures, because that would would make an awesome audio adventure, wouldn't it? I don't know how long it is, but I can imagine that.
It's the traditional 400 section piece. So I'll see if I can find some good bits of art to show you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it starts off with some quite gory case files. If you can see that.
Fantastic. Oh yeah, brilliant.
And that's 20 years prior to the event. And so it's obviously a crime scene that's discovered by a couple of police officers, and they go through the house and obviously map the crime scene. And then you move to 20 years later, and obviously that's your past, and so something from your past is coming back to haunt you and try and kill you.
Yeah.
I did think about doing it from the psycho killer's perspective, but I thought that might be a bit distasteful. So I thought I'd better off just being the victim and trying to escape, rather than actually promoting a book where you hack and slay and kill.
that could be a sequel, can't it? It's the alternative side.
Yeah, you could do it from both sides. I mean, I know John Green's doing his Dracula book from two sides.
Yeah.
That's not a no-knock, is it? I mean, so that's a potential. I have got a sequel planned for that, but being contemporary and not fantasy set, I'll have to wait to see how it does and what the reception is. I think there's quite a lot of appetite for horror out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Game books.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a huge horror thing. James Cale saying sequel. I think in capital letters, sequel. I think it's an excited one. So I think so. That's brilliant. So goodness me. So I mean, Davey's so prolific already, and that's very impressive. So you've got that in mind at the moment. What have you got maybe next year? Maybe about 5 books.
I'm currently writing Heroes, which is the third book in the Shadow Thief series. I'm about 80 sections into that, and I can show you a little map, which is the first section.
Yeah.
And I'm actually starting to draw things out. I just used to make things up, but now I'm actually planning.
Yeah.
I'm going from a pantser to a planner to some degree, which I think is a terminology. And so I'm having great fun with that, because that's just the prologue part of it, because each of the Shadow books leaves you on a bit of a cliffhanger. Yeah. And so you start in the next book exactly where you were, and in this case you have to try and escape from somewhere. And then there's quite a lot more to it. And the fact it's called Heroes, and Shadow's a singular hero, gives a little hint that he's not by himself.
Yeah.
He might have a little bit of help.
Oh, wow.
And after I get Heroes finished, I'm hoping for December for that. Then I'll probably concentrate on book 2 of the Hellscape, which is going to be Devil's Right Hand. There is a theme. All my book titles have been song titles so far.
Oh, okay.
So, and Straight to Hell, in fact, was purely hung on the idea of Straight to Hell, because I'm a big Clash fan.
Yeah.
And I thought, what if you get straight to hell and you're immortal and you're alive and you have to try and escape from hell when you're actually not dead? And it's a bit like Dante's Inferno, etc. Dante being shown around the Inferno. I've changed it a bit. I've added 13 layers. I think he had 7, did he? I think. I've got memory serves.
Wow.
Oh, how many was it? Oh, was it 8? 8 or 9? 7 to 9. I see. Apparently it could be 8 or 9 according to Elder's daughter.
Oh, right.
So he was wearing a Clash t-shirt, I'm proud to say.
Hey, you bring it up very well. So, I mean, obviously you're doing game books, but do you want to write a role-playing game as well, or any other sort of spin-off ideas you've got from that world that you've got now?
I think I'd love to do more. I mean, I have thought about, in the way that Lone Wolf novelised some of the, the Legends of Lone Wolf, etc.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 9 levels to hell in Dante, apparently, I've just been told. I would love to do a novelisation to appeal to perhaps people who don't play game books, just as a standard fantasy book. And so just put it all together as one big story. So I haven't thought about a role-playing game, because I don't think I've got that experience yet, but it's definitely something in the future I'd love to do.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And sorry, I'm just thinking any questions coming up here. So we've got talking about postage. So I assume you fund a lot of these on Kickstarter, dude. I think I've seen one of it.
No, I've never Kickstarted yet.
Oh.
I've been a bit nervous about Kickstarter because I'm a bit worried about taking people's money and then having the pressure to deliver it, because life happens and sometimes bad things happen which slow you down, so I never know what's around the corner. Yeah. I might do one day. I have got an idea for a Kickstarter, but at the moment it's purely self-publishing on Amazon.
Yes.
Because obviously it doesn't cost anything. You don't make an awful lot of money out of it, but it gets your books on a wide market.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get them in America and Canada and Europe and.
I do recommend the Kickstarter route personally, especially for a book. They're quite easy to post out, but also it does bring a whole audience that you would never get normally. You're looking for, so you see, I did quite a few.
I think I probably will at some stage, and I think it might be because what I would like to do is, when the Shadow Thief trilogy, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be a trilogy, not a trilogy in 4 parts, but in 3 parts. I hope if I get it together, I might combine it as one large game book, and then commission someone who I've already spoken to in the background to perhaps do some, unique art pages for it, and then release that as a Kickstarter.
Yeah,
that's my possibility at the moment. I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
because I would like it. It'd be nice to be 1 volume as well with some special, items and etc. Some of the stuff about how I actually put the book together.
Yeah.
Original scans and maps or whatever. So that's an idea, and that's for the future. I still want to get the Shadow Thief series finished first.
Yeah.
I've got Psycho Killer to get out by the 31st of October. That's been proofread. It's been play tested. I've got to say thank you while I'm here, because I feel that I wouldn't have got this far without the Gamebook community, and specifically a few people. If I can name check them, there might be.
Please do. I've done an emotional close up to your eyes. So if you get teary, we'll see it.
Please don't. Probably bloodshot and wrinkles. James Spear and Rob Hutton, they play testers for every book I've produced so far, and they've put up with me messaging them horrible, gruesome death scenes at bizarre times of the day, because I do like my death scenes. I mean, they've been instrumental in the support as well. And Victoria Hancock as well did Night Shift. She's game play tested and helped as well an awful lot. Dane Barrett, for free, he proofread the whole of Straight to Hell, which says about 95,000 words, which because I'm terrible at proofreading, and my little sister currently is proofreading Psycho Killer for me. So hello Rebecca, if you listen to this. So it's a collaborative process to some degree, and there's also resources like Adam will kill me if I don't say this, but the Gamebook Authors Group Facebook page, where it's put together by Adam Mitchell's obviously released a couple of books like iVirus, etc. And there's a lot of authors or budding authors or people trying to be authors on there. And we offer services for free, play testing, proofreading, etc., formatting, advice, and it's really, really supportive. And I don't think I'd have got that far without that support from people in such an inclusive community way. You feel like people want to help you.
Yeah, it's a wonderful community. I think it's fantastic. It's always been warm, I think, and it's great that all the people who originally sort of producing the games are still out there and they're still connecting with the fans. And it's a testament to Jonathan Green organising Fighting Fantasy festivals to see how sort of enthusiastic the community really is, and such a warm atmosphere it is when you go to one of those events. And
it's very welcoming. When I went along to Fighting Fantasy 3, and it's as a complete newbie, not knowing many. I knew a few people obviously from Facebook, but never in real life. So I walked in late to the Forest of Doom, the quiz on the Friday night. Yeah. And straight away, people beckoning me over. I was sat next to Alan Halpin and Paul Scanlon. Yes, we won. You were in second place. Sorry, mate. Yeah. Better luck next year. And it was a fantastic night. I met so many people, and everyone was so welcoming. And it's the same online. I've got various hobbies, and you see another Facebook groups for different hobbies. People get quite combative about, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. Home brewing, you've got to do this, you've got to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas it feels a lot more inclusive in the Gamebook forums.
Yeah, you see what it's like on the Doctor Who forum. It's a bloodbath on a lot of those.
Oh, God, yeah, I wouldn't touch those, yes. Doctor Who, can I mention as well?
Yeah.
If there is anyone out there, I know there's a couple of people, I think James Spearing's doing sections, but Christopher Stone, who does the incredibly funny Professor Howe books.
Oh, yes,
and he did Doctor Who and the Fescon Threat. These are just not let's say just books, they're proper books,
Yeah.
which I aspire to write one day. And he's putting together a mega game book. And I've written 50 sections for it. I know Rob Hatton is, I know Victoria is, I think Troy is, James Spearing's supposed to be doing his. And the whole idea is to try and put together the biggest game book ever. Wow. That's going to be written by lots of independent authors.
Yeah.
And Christopher's going to try and knit it all together. And then publish it. And it's all for charity as well, for Mind, I think.
Oh, so, wow. That's amazing. Is there a subject matter or sort of world that it's going to be based in at the moment? Has that been decided?
Fantasy based.
Yeah.
He very kindly gave me a scene to do, a scenario, which has very sketchy details, so I was fairly free to what I could do. And it was, funnily enough, set in a pub. I seem to get this a lot, but there we go. I tend to write pubs in my books all the time. In fact, Straight to Hell hasn't got a book, so I've decided next book there's going to be a pub in hell. There's got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
The Tavern from Hell. So mine was set in a pub in a very fantasy world, and I had great fun with it. I did a few callbacks to favourite characters from the past, from the fantasy world. So, and that was great fun to do. And I'm hopefully going to do a few more. But I know Chris is trying to knit it all together what he's got so far.
Yeah.
But that should be great fun because it's almost like you drop the baton and someone else picks it up, takes it on and takes the story somewhere else.
That's fantastic. Do you actually have any time to play other game books yourself now?
I do try. At the moment, I'm plowing my way through. I'm up to Wolfsbane in Lone Wolf. I'm trying to go through all the Lone Wolf slowly, so therefore Vampirium will be released next, I think, as the hardcover, because I need the last two, Hunger of Sadness, is it, and Vampirium. So those two are released before I actually get to them. That'd be fantastic. So I'm buying those that come out. I'm really enjoying it because I think they're quite linear in places. But I think the world building is fantastic and the story is fantastic.
Yeah.
And the recurring characters as well, which something I'm trying to do in my books, bringing in recurring characters, NPCs, etc., that come back. Foes that you don't just beat once. I think playing Moonrunners, when it was it Conrad the Manic Guard, who kept cropping up and you couldn't kill him. And I thought, that's fantastic, having a villain that keeps coming back at you.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do similar, so you have people coming out, you think you've beaten them, they're going to come back again. Or you have friends that keep coming back and helping you.
I love that. I love that with the Fighting Fantasy, with us various wizards that keep popping up out of the ground.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So I'm trying to build that world, and I mean, the Shadow books and the Hellscape books are interlinked, but not, I say, they are separate, but they are interlinked.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to just slowly reveal. I think in Heroes you'll see a little bit more of the world, because at the moment you've only been in the city.
Yep.
You have to go outside the city in this one and go to other parts of the continent. And so therefore I'm going to slowly release more details about it.
Brilliant.
And thoroughly enjoyable. Absolutely love it.
Fantastic. And are you going to keep doing the artwork as well? Can you draw as quickly enough to catch up with your writing?
I enjoy it. I think doing the artwork has been fantastic. Although I'm not a trained artist, I think I am improving, I'm learning, and I've got two very good teachers who can potentially teach me, I think, in this room.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm getting, and I enjoy doing it and progressing, because I think I was good at art at school, but I never took it. And it's one of those regrets in life that I didn't. I went down a science route, and I'm not a natural scientist. I think I'm more a natural artist, stroke, author kind of thing, rather than actually going down the cold hard facts of science. And even though my job as an analyst, but there we go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to carry on drawing. I mean, I do appreciate. I mean, I've got to mention Michael Shepherd, who did the covers to Jailbreak and Hunted. They're fantastic, far better than anything I could do, and I love the fact he's going to continue to do the covers, because it gives, I think, the series an identity as well.
Yeah.
It's the cover art as well as the content.
Yeah.
But no, I'm trying. I think Psycho Killer's got completely different art style because it's contemporary sets, not fantasy sets. So I'm messing around with different art styles to see what's effective. And sometimes quite plain, but I'll see if I can find a page I quite liked. Someone being defenestrated. Which is one of my favourite words. I think it's quite close to the beginning. Doesn't make great TV, does it? The guy flicking through a book.
I'm sure everyone's looking at your posters in the back and your parrot's tail.
The black one is my front cover to Straight to Hell, which it's an A2 size. and I framed it, badly framed it, and broke the glass. But I'm going to get it properly framed and hung it up because I was quite pleased that I liked it. And obviously, I've got the Black Lobster sign, Dragons, which my eldest daughter very kindly painted for me.
That's fantastic.
So that was originally done by her. That's going to be hung outside when I've varnished it. And there we go. And then the parrots. The parrots came from, was it Hawaii, girls? Oh, Mexico. Apparently they're Mexican parrots.
Oh.
And one's called Hercule and the other's called Poirot. Not very original. So that's a bit more contemporary. Just someone being thrown out a window.
Oh, great. Excellent. Is that... well, that reminds me of Die Hard, as you said. With the,
well, that's it, yeah. He was a bit like Hans, people being thrown out. I mean, he's not a terrible guy, the guy it happens to, but he's not the best character.
Yeah.
It's not the villain, but yeah. So it's saying psychically you have to try and escape and try and keep people alive, which is going to be difficult.
Fantastic. So, David, how can people keep in contact with you? Have you got any? Are you on Twitter? What do you use? Twitter, Instagram, or?
I use Twitter very badly. I think it's Black Dog Gamebooks or something similar, and because I've got a black Labrador around somewhere, so it's named after him. Oh, he's on the floor behind the bar, waiting for beer, no doubt. Yeah. And I'm on Instagram as Black Dog Gamebooks. I've got a Facebook page which actually named the Hellscape Gamebook group. So if anyone wants to join that, I'm close to 200 members because I tend to do. I think you're on it, Ollie.
Oh,
I tend to promote a lot of my stuff on there. I tend to put, where I'm doing. I do a lot of updates about bits of art I've done, where I'm up to with various books. When I get proof copies, what I've done. Offers for people to help as well if they're interested. As they are, then Richie's just helped Richie Stevens with my Labyrinths of Lavany, which is like a backup story in both of the Shadow Thief books. So he play tested those. So it's a place for people to get involved if they can help.
Yeah.
And I'm just interested, and it's great to see people on there.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much, David, for your time. Thank you for supporting not just the International Gamebook Day, but it sounds like you support the wider community as well and other authors, which is a lovely thing to do. And hopefully we'll see you again, maybe in the flesh, fighting Fantasy 4.
I hope to be there, yes,
yep,
hopefully.
If not before. But thank you again for all your time. And
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.